Is the Orks meta on top once again in the Warhammer 40K universe? Are the Bully Boyz really back, and can they beat out all of the other detachments in the Ork Codex? Today, we're going to break down exactly what happened at the Onslaught Tampa Team Open. I'm going to reveal two Bully Boyz lists, one of which came in top 5 undefeated in the team's event. Make sure to stay tuned and watch. So we're back at it again, my peoples. So at the Onslaught Tampa Open, this was a team event that I ran over 3 days under the NTL umbrella, right? Through the Onslaught company, myself, and we had first place, second place, third place, fourth place, but in fifth place, we had Dustin Hammond, who was on the club Beholden to None with Orks, and he went 5-0. Yes, one of them is a bye. His team actually got a bye, so he got 11 points for his first round. But the remaining rounds he went through, he completely crushed all of his enemies, crushed their souls, took everything they had, and got even better more progressively throughout the event. So, the first matchup that he had in round 2 was Tyranids. Round 3 was Drakari. Round 4 was Astra Militarum. And round 5 was Chaos Space Marines. And as you can see, he did really well. He went down a little bit, but he progressively got better throughout the event. And I'm going to go ahead and show you this list. I just wanted to give a shout out real quick to Dustin for his fantastic job and what he did out of 90 participants that was at this event. He went undefeated. He went against a lot of very, very good teams throughout this event at the Onslaught Tampa Open. And I'm impressed. Matter of fact, I'm so impressed, I'm going to take his list and I'm going to show you here very shortly and start running it myself and see how well I can do in singles play. So give me 1 second while I show you his list and break down exactly what he has in it on the new recruit. All right, so the first list that I wanted to show you was Dustin's list, right? So I've named it the Skilled Bullies. I think it takes a lot of skill in order to run this list properly, especially when it comes to efficiently using Zogrod, Wardsnagga, right? So yes, he has Zogrod, and of course he had 22 Gretchen with 2 runt herds in there, of course, right? So it's a unit of 23 with Zogrod. Getting that ability to scout 9 inches, that free 6-inch movement once per game. It's not twice per game, it's once per game, because if you read the Bully Boyz section, it only affects Mega Knobs, Knobs, and War Bosses. And Zogrod has none of those keywords, so he can't be affected by the second wave of Wa, even though his ability says, while the Wa is active, it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect him. And for Bully Boyz, it specifically states what it affects throughout the game. Unless that changes by Games Workshop and they intended it to work like that. But I'm not a rules designer, so I don't rule by intent and I don't play by intent. I play by raw as often as I can because I never want to cheat the person that I'm playing with. All right. So he used Zogrod. Zogrod is an amazing piece. It gives you a lot of abilities that +1 to hit, +1 to wound, -1 to wound when you're being targeted, things like that. That extra 6-inch movement in the wall, right? So these little Gretchen grots that get to move, 12 inches, very, very fast, plus a D6. So they get to moving and can really clog up the lines, be your unit where you can basically tag a lot of tanks, tag a lot of units, waiting for all of your mega knobs and knobs to stage on the tabletop, right? So they can be in position to charge on the next wave and take out all of your enemies, or the beast bosses for this matter. So he kind of did a combination, which I think beast bosses are a little bit better in Warhorde, but he kind of did a combination of where I like to divide it. And this is me personally, where I like to put beast bosses in Warhorde and war bosses and mega armor, obviously, in the Bully Boyz. But this is a straight up Bully Boyz list. He has 2 beast bosses in here. Everyone knows what they do. They're really awesome in the charge phase, right? Every time that they charge, they get the ability to do dev wounds. So they can really proc up against, anti-vehicle, anti-monster on a 4-up. So they can really one-shot, Gilliman, a Rhino, a lot of monsters he can really one-shot all by himself without the sustained hits from Warhorde. I don't think he can do it entirely to a lot of units, but in Bully Boyz, he's still going to put the hurt in on that. So we'll see how that works out in the future once I start using him in Bully Boyz. And then he's also using 3 war bosses and mega armor, one with the teleporter, right? Which is a great enhancement to use, where basically you just deep strike the character, the war boss, the mega armor with the fat brick of 6 mega knobs. Because I like to play WYSIWYG, and this is what I own, and I really don't want to paint more models, I run mine with 6 mega knobs with custom shooters and power claws. I do have 2 kill rigs in this list, so if strength becomes a problem for me, right, I can always +2 strength on top of that, having the wall for 2 turns. So I'll be strength 13 for all of my dudes in that unit, so they can get up there and crump and hit basically whatever they need to hit, right? And really be effective with that. So, and I know a lot of you are saying, well, why don't you just take the twin linked kill saws? Well, I don't have them printed out, or I don't own them. So I want to make sure that I go back to using what I have and being WYSIWYG, of course, because I like to play the game properly. I don't want to be that guy, right? So also using 2 units of beast snaggers, 10 each, with the power snappers obviously on the knobs. Just like we talked about, that's attached to Zodgrod is the 22 Gretchen. Another unit of Gretchen, so they can just get you CP, holding your 6, holding your objective, right? Your home objective. So you can kind of screen out deep strike, things like that. Commandos are obviously, they've always been very, very good. They drop by 5 points. They're a lot better now, I think, in the meta and how the meta and how it's being used in the meta, right? You always want to take a bomb squig and a distraction grot. Take a power claw on the knob and a breaching ram. So essentially, you get yourself 2 power claws in there. You just get you those additional attacks. And then the 6 brick of mega knobs, like I was telling you, where I take on that 1 war boss with a teleporter. 2 units of mega knobs to attach to the other war bosses and mega armor, and 1 unit of Storm Boys just to score me that backfield advantage, those, behind enemy lines, quarters, things like that. Whatever they need to do throughout the game, they're going to make sure to get me those points. They're very cheap, 65 points. Knob is going to get a power claw. 2 kill rigs. So kill rigs are really a stat check against a lot of armies, right? Grey Knights, they can be a stat check against Tyranids if they don't have a lot of monster mash. Things like that. If they're running like Vanguard, like a lot of people are running now, or they're just running like Brood Lords or Tyranid Warriors, things like that, they're really going to be difficult to punch up to. Drukari, right? Without their dark lances, is going to be a challenge for them to punch up to as well. You really want to make sure that you destroy all of those boats as quick as possible so they don't destroy your kill rigs. But I have 2 kill rigs, so I can put the Beast Boss and all the Beast Snaggers inside of this, so they have the potential to survive. Because everybody knows that Orks just have T-shirts for save, even though you're going to get that additional invul save 2 turns, right? They're still very easy to kill. They only have a 5+ invul, 6+ feel no pain. So you want to maintain their survivability throughout the game. And they really smack. They really smack really, really hard. 2 trucks. 2 trucks are going to be for the mega knobs with the war bosses, and the other one and the teleporter. So you're always going to rapid ingress that one preferably, or deep strike it on turn 2, 3 before it becomes destroyed. So in this list, right? So I had the opportunity to talk to him a little bit. He didn't have the opportunity to actually come on the show and for me to do an interview with him, but that's fine. I wish him the best. Shout out to him. I hope he has a wonderful holidays, and for all of you listening as well, right? But for you orc enthusiasts, this list really has a lot going on. It has the ability to really become a stat check for a lot of reasons. Also, don't forget, Bully Boyz have the ability to do armor of contempt, essentially, for your mega knobs, for survivability. You also have the ability in your 2 WAs for those 3 units, you know, the War Boss, Mega Knobs, and Knobs, which we have no knobs in here, so we're going to just, you know, not include those, but it allows you to reroll ones not in the WA, reroll full hits in the WA and melee. So you become super efficient. You can become super defensive as well. And a 5+ feel no pain on your mega knobs is really strong. It's not what it used to be, where it was 4+ feel no pains. We all know it is what it is. But we got our point decreases in the new data slate, so I'm really happy about that. I've always been the type of person that Bully Boyz is more of my playstyle than Warhorde is, or maybe just I'm burnt out of Warhorde. I know Warhorde is probably known in Dread Mafia, as I like to call it, is known as some of the best attachment in the Orc Codex. But I really think Bully Boyz, if you play them appropriately, and that's your play style, you can do really, really well with them, especially with this list. And it really holds up to armies like the Warhorde if you're getting into an Orc mirror match or a Dread Mob, right? You have the Beast Bosses with the Beast Snaggers that can go tech into well against the Dread Mobs. It can do really well into the Warhorde as well, because you have the bodies, you have the skill rigs. It's going to be challenging for them to really punch up. Even for the knobs that they're going to be running in Warhorde, it's going to be a challenge for them to really, really punch up, right? So, very strong. I believe Bully Boyz is, you know, 3rd strongest, maybe 2nd strongest throughout all of the attachments in the Orc Codex. It's definitely my first favorite. And with Zodgrod, you really have the ability and the commandos to really create a roadblock for a lot of those armies. Even if you're talking about Green Tide, Green Tide is just going to have to chew through your commandos first. Vanguard, you know, from Tyranids is going to have to chew through that first. All the armies, all the close combat armies, all the Blood Angels. If you can tag Blood Angels, Death Company, whatever it might be, with Zodgrod and commandos before they can tag you, right? Then you're going to have a high advantage and really destroying them with all of your mega knobs. They can really put a hurting on a lot of units. They will destroy Abaddon, and that's actually what happened. So, you know, when I talked to him a little bit, and actually I talked to the opponent as well. So Abaddon actually got destroyed by getting tagged by all of the mega knobs all in one turn when it came into the last round, the Chaos Space Marines. So you can destroy just about anything in the game. They punch up really well, and that's always been the biggest thing for me, right? Is that Warhorde doesn't have the ability to punch up as well, because a lot of people like to run knobs. If you run Mega Knobs in there, obviously you're going to be able to punch up, right? But Bully Boyz punch up a lot better because you're going to take a lot more Mega Knobs, and you have the ability to create, call 2 walls. So you're going to have that defense buff that's going to benefit you throughout the game a lot longer. So Bully Boyz really, really have what it takes to destroy Knights armies, Monster Mash from Tyranids, tanks from Drukhari or Space Marines. Just really take care of those units super efficiently. Commandos, all right. I really, really love this list. Commandos, you're just going to use them to roadblock most everything in the game. But you have a lot of attacks in here. And Storm Boys, like I was saying, they're just going to hold objectives. Go behind enemy lines. Go to a quarter. Get you some points. Maybe even do a secret mission for you if they can, right? Whatever happens, they're going to make sure to be there for you. So try not to throw them out there too fast to get killed. Kill rigs are super efficient, especially if you roll that 6 to get that lethal on those units that you're applying it on. And remember this, triple stacks. If you have 3 of them, it's gonna double stack for me. So any unit that I put it on is gonna have +2 strength. It's hilarious when you put it on Zodgrod's unit on the Gretchen, right? And they're +3 strength on the wall. So they become strength 5. Wounding Marines on 2s because Marines are T4, right? And then -1 to wound and return. It's pretty funny. So you're going to hit on 4s because of the +1 hit from Zodgrod. You're going to hit on 4s. You're going to wound on 2s from 22 different Gretchen bodies, which is just funny, right? And you'll kill it. You will kill it. So I really like this list. Thank you to Dustin once again. This is an exciting list. I'm going to use this as soon as possible. I know there's a couple of GTs that are coming up. I know I'm going to be at WCW, so hopefully I see some of you. If you see me, give me a shout out. Come up, give me a hug, handshake, whatever it might be. But like, hey, General Slaughter, how you doing? I know you from Onslaught Gaming 40K, and you're always talking about Orks. So hopefully you bring your Orks to WCW, and you do a fantastic job there. So this is our first list. I'm going to go ahead and break down one more list just to show everybody kind of what I've been thinking about for Bully Boyz and how fantastic they have been throughout this new meta. All right. 1 second. All right. So this is the second Bully Boyz list that I wanted to show everyone, right? This is something that I have been creating just on the new recruit. I actually haven't tried it out yet. I still been playing my other army, which is World Eaters. I like to play both armies, things like that. So I'm back to Orks for a little while until I finish painting up all of my World Eaters. And then I'll just continue, to do what I need to do with that. But anyways, this is called the Bullyz is back, baby. Right? Without the baby. It's just the Bullyz is back. So in this list, this plays a little bit differently. I wanted to take advantage of what the Big Mech can do, right? A lot of individuals have been using this, especially at the Denver GT that happened like 3-4 weeks ago. He did very well with the Big Mech. Also, another big thing is that you get you another damage 3 with the Drilla, right? And the biggest thing with the Big Mech is that he can take a fat pack of 20 boys and run through any screens that your enemy has. So the other list was very defensive. This is going to be more offensive, where you're going to be able to run through screens. Instead of creating screens, you're going to be able to run through screens on this one, right? I always tell all of my friends when I'm coaching them and they're asking me questions and things like that, I think that's a very strong component, that if you're creating a list, you either got to be able to run through screens or create screens, or have an ability to chew through screens with junk, just trash units, just commandos and Grots with Zodgrod and things like that, right? You want to be able to just chew through screens and not invest in your Mega Knobs doing all that, light work, because you want them to do the heavy lifting for you. So this one actually goes through the screens with the fat pack of boys, which I really like. I really like this list. It plays differently. has the ability just to run through buildings. Also, another pro tip with the big mech, he can be attached to mech guns, which means you can run mech guns through ruins, which is quite hilarious. So you can have a unit of 3 mech guns, bubba chuckers, and just run them through a ruin. Hide for a round, whatever, hide your face, run them through a ruin, shoot at whatever you need to shoot at, and yeah, and get away with it. So hopefully you roll really well, and Gork and Mork is in your favor, where he allows you to destroy whatever you're targeting with that. But Big Mac is amazing. He is definitely a great piece to use. He's not an auto include, but if you use him properly, you can get some great value out of the new Big Mac. It's a beautiful model as well. And in this one, right, I like to use regular knobs and mega knobs and Bully Boyz. I really like to do overkill. I really like to do a lot of attacking. So that's why I have the 20 boys. 20 boys can create a screen, but most likely they're going to go through screens. So I'm going to have 2 war bosses in here. They're going to attach to 5 knobs. And one of the other war bosses is going to attach into the boys. 3 war bosses and mega armor, which are going to attach to all of the mega knobs. Right? So 1 war boss in here. 2 units of Gretchen, not a unit of 22 in this one, just 11 and 11. 3 units of Mega Knobs for all the war bosses and Mega Armor. As always, I have that 1 unit with the Power Claw and Custom Shooter. That unit is obviously going to be part of the Teleporter, which is the Warlord. So I try to, rapid ingress them or deep strike them, things like that. But I make sure to get in proper position so I can do a great charge with that unit. And I'm going to have a unit of 2 knobs with war bosses. Those units right there are going to be your extra heavy working units, right? Especially with the war bosses and those extra attacks now that GW so nicely changed for all of our war bosses and war boss and mega armor. They changed the wording on those so you can use all of their abilities no matter what, as long as the wall is active. And you're going to get 2 turns to do so in the Bully Boyz list, right? So these 2 units right here are pretty much going to hit, like the mega knobs are going to take care of the things that have high toughness that it's going to be a challenge to punch up to. The knobs are really going to take away all of those elite type units, right? Any of those, Death Company, Sanguinary Guard, Thunderwolf Cavalry, just really put that amount of attacks into them with the mega knobs as well for the Thunderwolf Cavalry. But those type of units like Sanguinary Guard, Death Company, Chukari, Lilith unit, things like that. You really want to take care of those type of units with these knobs. Then I'm going to have 2 units of Storm Boys in this one because I had the extra points, so I kind of wanted to put them in an additional unit to make sure that I hold objectives, get those points, because the game is all about objectives and getting those points, right? I also put a battle wagon in here. So the battle wagon, I can use multi-purpose, right? I can use it for the boys with the war boss and the big mech. Hop out, move up, turn 1. You're going to have to shoot it and deal with it. Hop out, charge, go through all your screens and really touch things that are in your back 6, right? So I want them really moving. Or you can put the mega knobs in there, right? 5, 6 of them with the character is going to be 11. And then you're going to put 5, or you can put all of your knobs in there, or 5 knobs in there rather, because you can't put the 3 characters in there. That's 23. You can only put 22. So you can put them in there as well. 1 unit of 5 with a war boss. You can really change it up, right? You can throw some Gretchen in there, or use all of your boys in there with the 2 characters, which is 22 that fits in there. So you have some flexibility, and you have a strong, high defensive vehicle where you have the ability to do that, I always put the zap gun on it, right, and the death roller, because you want to make sure your orc shooting, right? It's crappy anyways unless you're playing Dread Mafia. So you throw the zap gun on there because it has better AP, higher damage, higher strength. And if you hit something with it and you wound something with it, you're actually going to do something to it. And then I'm going to use 3 dedicated transports. This is for the mega knobs and the orcs knobs as well. So I'll just throw 2 knobs and 1 truck unit because you can take 12, right, with the 2 characters and the 10 boys, 5 and 5, 1 character each unit. And then mega knobs in the other one. And you have some flexibility with that as well. You can really change that out. I don't have any SWAT team where I'm taking any flash kits in this list. I'm not a big fan of the shooting, right? Flash kits are amazing. If you want to change out a couple components in here, you want to change out the knobs and just put flash kits in there, you can always do that, right? But obviously, you don't have a SWAT team. Maybe you drop 1 unit of mega knobs and maybe one of the enhancements or something like that, and then you can get 2 units of those for 100. I believe they're 160 points. So, or just 1 unit of 5 mega knobs will do it, right? So you have 15 points extra, and then you can actually take another enhancement on this. So Bully Boyz, this is the other list. I think this is super efficient, super fun to play with as well. I think this plays the game very well. You don't have 2 kill rigs in here. You actually just have the battle wagon and an additional truck than what you had in the other list that I was just showing you. So this one plays a lot differently, right? Instead of creating screens, you chew through screens with the 20 boys and the big mech. And you have a lot more power claws in this list as well. So you can be super efficient, kill a lot more units than you can with the beast snaggers and the kill rig, right? And that's just a whole different game to play when you have the kill rigs and the beast snaggers and the beast balls. So tick for tack, this is a little bit more teched into killing elite units. The other is teched into really an all-comers list, singles list. So pick and choose what you want. Try these lists out. Let me know how you do, right? Let me know how you do when you practicing with them. Maybe you change out a couple of units, and maybe you do create some SWAT teams, or maybe you take out the big mech and the boys and you put some beast snaggers in here and drop the battle wagon and put some kill rigs in here instead, and just use the war bosses and mega armor. Fun list. Hopefully you can try them out. So I just wanted to break it down to everyone. In a couple episodes, I'm going to try to do a breakdown of how I would position, right? Try to execute some creative and great combats, things like that on TTS, and show you exactly how I've been playing them out. Or maybe even I'll give you a video of me actually playing them live at a GT event. So thank you to everyone who participated and watched to the very end. As always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Onslaught Gaming 40K platform. Hopefully you really enjoyed all of this orc, and specifically the Bully Boyz is back content, right? Hopefully a lot of this information maybe is newer to you, or you can take the list and reconstruct them, or take the list as is and you do very well on the tabletop. As always, don't forget Onslaught Gaming 40K, where victory is just a strategy away. And most importantly, whoa!